At least 40 more people killed today in Syria, and residents now say they're bracing for a full-blown war. Too afraid of snipers, too afraid of shellings to even go buy bread. And these are images of life in a Damascus suburb. The man who posted this video says troops are now using civilians as human shields. You can see 2 tanks with civilians walking between, apparently insurance against rebel attacks. Foreign reporters are forbidden inside Syria, but Arwa Damon has managed to get inside. Communication is dicey, and she's at an undisclosed location for her safety, but we're in touch with Arwa now. Arwa, you were in Syria just a few weeks ago. Tell me what strikes you most about the deterioration now that you're back.
You know, what we've really been able to see is just how far, even though the government is still in a position of power, it's important to note that, but just how far the situation is really beginning to fray. There are huge parts of this country that do not seem to be in full government control, or at the very least where people have broken that barrier of fear to a degree where the Free Syrian Army is setting up checkpoints, especially on the dirt roads and the fields and farmlands that we're having to travel through, because we also need to avoid government forces, just like the activists and members of the opposition and Free Syrian Army need to as well. We've also really been able to gain a greater appreciation for the details of what the opposition has to go through just to achieve basic things. They have an entire network set up to try to disseminate information about government movements. They have entire networks set up just to get things like bread delivered into neighborhoods where there are shortages, and then more critically, of course, medical aid, and an entire process to try to get injured evacuated from these various areas under siege into these secret underground clinics for basic medical care before moving them on to private hospitals where there are perhaps sympathetic doctors who can treat them, or in some cases even getting them out of the country.
What is the sense of what the outside world is doing? Is there a sense of outrage they're not getting more help, or is there a sense of just despair that they're going to have to do this on their own?
A lot of people that we've been talking to are reluctantly saying that they do want military intervention, but they fear what it is going to do to the country. But they say they have no choice at this stage. With or without military intervention, at some point in time, they do believe the Assad regime is going to fall, but they also believe and know that it is going to be an incredibly bloody process. They realize that military intervention is potentially going to cost a lot of lives, but they say that military intervention will at least end the crisis a lot quicker than a lack of military intervention would, because they say if there is no intervention, this is just going to drag on for who knows how long, and it is only going to further split and polarize the country. And this is a nation that already at this stage is dangerously splitting, is dangerously seeing its social fabric disintegrate, and that at the end of the day is going to be the next challenge, the next chapter in Syria. And that's something that the activists, the oppositions, are very well aware of as well at this stage, John.
Breathtakingly brave reporting from CNN's Arwa Damon. Arwa, thank you, and stay safe.